All right, so one thing that is for certain is there is government monitoring of my Facebook and my YouTube. There's a lot of conversations that I've had that magically, when I was talking to Gerhardt and I recorded the whole conversation, magically that didn't record. Even if I make a video that's completely, there's always a little number one up here in the corner. Right, you can't even see my finger, but on my screen, um, my finger is literally touching the end of the number one, and there's two silhouettes, a bigger one and a little one. That shows how many viewers you have. There is always one viewer, even if it's completely private and unlisted. No matter what, that one is always up there. A lot of my videos, um, the one with Officer Gerhardt in Boulder, that one didn't save for some odd reason. Then there's the situation, and mind you, the Boulder Police Department, they gained access to those things that they should have never had access to. They broke the law to basically so they could convince a judge to give them access to that. And obviously, for a good long while there, they did have access to all of that. Now, the other thing is that's part of the reason for them assaulting me and charging me with felony assault, is so that they could gain access to things that I'd already given to the Broomfield Police Department. The fact is that none of the stuff that was allowed in my court dates was actual fact. They didn't allow any actual facts into my court date. It was just hearsay, their words versus mine. There was no actual factual evidence. And that's what sucks. All of these people whose slander throughout all this was allowed to be used to prevent me from showing evidence, they needed to look at the fucking evidence. Now, I was just watching the two videos between me and Mandy that I just recorded, and somehow, magically, a lot of the stuff that is the most important key stuff, it just magically blips over. Like it didn't happen. Now, that's not the only time that that has happened. A lot of people offered to help me, and then immediately I was blocked. Like immediately after them offering to help, I was blocked by them. And like that's really fucked up. And Mandy Hughes is actually one of the people who was commenting on that. A lot of people had that issue, a fucking shit ton of them. And that was after the Boulder Police got access to that. After they took my phone illegally. When I say illegally, what I mean is that they feigned an assault. They knew that I was trying to, well, I wasn't trying to fucking kill myself. I was fine with being killed as long as they caught the guy that killed Natalie. As long as he showed up with that gun, I didn't care if I lived or died as long as they caught the son of a bitch. And Danica Garner, I was in contact with her through all of that. She knew. The thing is, I didn't need to be dragged to a fucking institution. I needed the cops to fucking do their goddamn job. By that point in time, I'd been through days and days and days of hell in Boulder, Colorado, at the hands of police officers and the homeless and the general public. Now, with those two videos with Mandy Hughes, there's some important parts in there that, well, there's a lot of the important parts there that are still in there, but the parts where, yeah, Mandy does remember Shady Dan, my friend who died behind the pedestrian shop there in Boulder, where the Boulder Police Department getting a call at 6:45, it says, according to the newspaper. And what time did they show up? 10 o'clock. 10 o'clock. Anita Stassi and I were trying to give him. We were trying to bring him back. I'd seen enough bodies that literally from the corner of the building, from the corner of the pedestrian shop, and that alley that's in that article, I saw the back of Danny's head. I didn't know it was Danny, but I knew he was dead. That was 10 o'clock, hours after the article is talking about it. The article talks about 6:45, and the police, they asked me if I knew who had called it in at like 6 o'clock. Like, holy shit, you knew he was back there at 6 o'clock. If you knew he was back there at 6 o'clock, why didn't you show up at 6 o'clock? Danny might have still been alive. Then Anna wouldn't have been traumatized by that. I wouldn't have been traumatized by that. Tony D'Astasi wouldn't have been traumatized by that. There's a lot of other parts that we talk about, like by the time we get to the end of that video, that was 14 minutes in. But somehow magically, that video is only 7 minutes and something seconds long. Somebody edited it while I was trying to figure out what the fuck was going on. I mean, you can see in this. I'll show you. It's still downloading this one, but I'll show you. I mean, you see that video, it's only 7 minutes and 14 seconds long, and here I am, 26 minutes and 15 seconds. 26 minutes and 15 seconds, they were fucking with that video and editing it. Cutting out key important details. And you can tell that it's edited because during this time, I mean, it's not like it's jumbled and it's having internet connection problems. No, those parts are literally cut out. It just bleeps over entire sections of the conversation in both of these videos, and in, well, quite a few other videos too, I'm sure, where they just cut parts out. Now, who is it that has the power and control to do that? The other thing is, two of the conversations that I had with Deputy Holloway, there's no sound. There's no sound on the video. There is sound on all of my other videos. Why isn't there sound on those two? And in both of those, that deputy said things that were very fucking important. But you don't get to hear it because there's no sound. There is always the number one up here in the corner. Always. It's government censorship. And that's the thing, is that I'm not going to comply with any court orders that are illegal or immoral. It's just not going to happen. I'm not going to comply with any court orders that put other people at risk. It's just not going to happen. I'm not going to comply with your wants if your wants are me to keep my mouth shut while someone is hurt. It's just not going to happen. Those of you who want to pretend I'm some sort of a villain, fuck you. Fuck you. The fact that the FBI took part in this all the way back in Longmont in August, and they had already been attached to Natalie's case over her telephone. That's how I knew, because of the things that were said in that court date. That's how I knew that they couldn't look at any of my text messages. They couldn't look at any of the text messages between me and Natalie, or me or any of these other people, unless I was able to show them unless I was able to take screenshots of every single one of them and send it to them. Meanwhile, their sites aren't allowing me to send shit. And there's other people, that woman, two women actually up in Washington State, and their conversations are here on YouTube, where they were as frustrated with it as I was. And one of those women, she's actually talking about how frustrating it was for her. She's a Starbucks employee trying to help me turn in the fact that these things were stolen, and they're not doing shit. Starbucks employees are telling me, well, we can't release anything to the police. They have to come here. And the police are like, well, you have to get Starbucks to bring that here. Are you fucking kidding me? My stuff was stolen repeatedly up there, and I got it back, and I was lucky to get it back. But I also had to spend what little money that I had to get myself the fuck out of there because it was obviously a dangerous situation to be in. I had to spend that money to try to get that evidence back. I can't function. I mean, right now, the volume is off down there. He doesn't have the TV playing. He's passed out, but now I have to worry about waking him up. You guys want to treat me like I'm some sort of wingnut fucking conspiracy theorist. I'm not. I mean, all of these people, they know schizophrenic people. We all know schizophrenic people. Obviously, I'm not fucking schizophrenic. The harassment by Natalie Bollinger and her family and her ex-boyfriends and all of that shit. Yes, that'll drive somebody fucking crazy. I need to be left the fuck alone. I need to be allowed to see my friends and my loved ones without being harmed by the police or by tweakers. Fuck this damn country.